Welcome to Atlanta News First Sports Tonight. I'm Fred. Emily's right there. Emily,
Hi,
we've
Fred.
got a lot to talk about tonight. I'll let you kick it off.
Lots to talk about, but first we should probably talk about the fact that this is your last time here with me
Right.
talking about these things. Fred is retiring after
Yes.
too many years to count in Atlanta and even more years to count in the whole business. So this is your last, Fred.
Yes, it is. It's hard to believe, but it is.
Yes, it is hard to believe. We'll get to that towards the end, but let's start off with the women's NCAA tournament national championship last night between LSU and Iowa.
Right.
If you like basketball, men's or women's, that was quite the game to watch. I mean, it was competitive. There were some shooters. I love the fact that the women's tournament this year really gained some viewers. It was a very, very popular tournament,
Yeah,
Fred.
it should have
And
been.
a lot of people are talking about it today after, I don't know what you want to say, maybe on the court gestures. Angel Reese, LSU's baller, she was doing some little in the hand
right, now you see me,
gestures.
now
And,
you don't,
and
right, yeah.
Caitlin Clark, who's probably the best basketball player in the country right now when it comes to women's ball, she had done it in previous games.
Right.
And so I have no issue with Reese doing that
No,
whatsoever.
I don't either.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it loud. I love my athletes cocky. Love that. Because you know what? To get to the highest stage in any sport, you have to be cocky. So many people doubt you on the way there. It takes confidence. It takes all of these things to be able to mute the haters. And that's exactly what Reese did. And she was on the biggest stage, and people had said a bunch of things about her. And Reese came out after the win saying, some people call me hood, some people have called me ghetto, and here I am. I just won the national championship.
Exactly.
And whoever wants to call her ghetto or whoever wants to call her whatever name they want to call her, now they need to say that she's a champion, okay?
Yeah.
Because she won last night. Hand in the face and all. I'm
Yeah.
about that because, Fred, maybe you can't say this, but I can because I'm a woman. If that were two men doing that on a court, nobody would have any issue with it. Listen, Kobe, Shaq, all those guys, cocky. MJ, cocky. But then when a woman does it, it's not okay. I mean, come on, guys. This is good for the sport because we're all talking about it. It's the very first topic of tonight's discussion, women's sports. I don't think we've ever done that before. So you know what? You're doing your thing, Reese. You're doing exactly what you should be doing, growing the sport of women's basketball, and I'm here for it.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, I kind of like it. I kind of like it, because, to be honest with you, I've always been a Little John fan. You know that, right?
Oh, my gosh.
So I like Little John, and Little John, girl fight. So I'm all into that.
There was no girl fight.
No, I know it. There wasn't, but I'm saying I don't mind women talking trash.
I'm into
I don't mind
it.
that at all. Go ahead.
That's what
like you
sports
said,
are.
the guys do it all the time. I mean, how about Gary Payton? He was one of my favorite players, Gary Payton Sr., okay? One of my favorite players of all time because he smiled when he talked trash. He did. He'd smile at you while he was talking trash. I mean, I saw him play in college at Oregon State, and then he played, had a great Hall of Fame career. So I don't have a problem with it,
I like my athletes cocky. And Fred,
Well, here, if the women want to, we see them on an equal level, then they should be able to talk trash, just like
hand
the
in
guy.
the face and
right,
everything.
Why not?
When Jalen Carter picked up LSU's quarterback during the SEC championship game with one arm and then
Right.
put the number one up with the other one, we loved it.
Yeah.
And for anybody in the country who didn't know who JC was, they learned very quickly during that game who he was.
Right.
All right? This was before the legal issues, but what I'm
Right.
saying
Sure.
is that people loved that. Loved it, and that was a cocky moment.
Sure
and that
it was.
confident, and that was showing the world, hey man, I've been working this hard. I'm on the biggest stage of my career right now, and this is what I can do. And that's exactly what Angel Reese did last night.
Yeah.
And she also said after the game, she said the price just went up. Well, baby, I'm happy about that. Your price did just go up. Charge everybody everything, and get your NIL deals, and keep playing, keep balling.
Yeah, I
love
don't
it.
mind it at all.
Yep. All right. I could talk about this all day.
You
It's
could,
almost
and I'll let you go because men's national title game. What do you think? Got UConn. I saw UConn beat Georgia Tech for the national championship. What was that? 2005. It was a long time ago in San Antonio. Yeah, it was a long time ago. So UConn's had. What I'm saying is, my point is, UConn's won the national championship 4 or 5 times. So they're going for 5, right?
Yeah.
So San Diego State's never won one. So,
I want to know who out there had UConn and San Diego State in the national championship on their bracket?
Yeah.
That's the only question I have for anybody out there. I want to know who had those two still standing on April 3rd of 2023. I don't think there were many. I had Bama and Texas in my hopes. I think disappeared during the Sweet 16.
I had Texas winning. I had San Diego State going to the Sweet 16, but then I had Texas and, who did I say? Texas and one other team in there, obviously.
I'm not sure who you had against Texas, but I know you had Texas winning it.
Winning
I had
it all,
Texas
right.
losing it to Alabama. So this just goes to show that the NCAA tournament is an equal opportunity employer. If you get in and you get hot, then you can go all the way, and that is what this year has proven to us. It'll be a 5 seed or a 4 seed that wins, Fred. That's crazy to me.
Well, but you think
I don't
about
know, but you know, Fred, I'm interrupting you rudely right now. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
But I want to know, like, honestly, what the ratings will be tonight. That's what interests me the most. Like, do you think the ratings will be high? UConn and San Diego State?
maybe not. Maybe
You know?
not. I don't know. I mean, I would watch, obviously.
If it's a
but-
close game, I mean, we certainly, both of us will watch. And it's
Yeah.
a late one, 9:20? I mean, if I'm a
9:20.
kid, I'm begging my parents to stay up till
Sure.
9:20 to watch
That's
this
what it's
game.
always been, though. I mean, that's always been. You got to stay and see one shining moment, right?
Yes, that is true.
You have to stay and see one shining moment at the end. It's always a great piece of video put together by the CBS crew.
So who do you have? I mean, I don't know who I have, but I've watched. What I like about San Diego State is they play some physical ball,
Right.
and I'm into that. So I mean, I just
If they get
based
into a
off of
half-court
that,
game, it's going to be San Diego State. I mean,
that's
I'm
who I
rooting
like
for San Diego
tonight.
State.
The
I like
5
them.
seed. That's who I like.
Yeah, but UConn is they've got some credibility and some
Under the
history
radar.
behind them. Yeah.
Under the radar. All
So we'll see.
season.
But I mean, I'd like to see San Diego State win it. All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, the Braves are back and they won the opening series, so they're rolling so far. Home opener coming up Thursday, right? So
Home opener on Thursday against the Padres, but right now they are starting a new 3-game set tonight at the Cardinals, but in Washington over the weekend. I should say Washington, D.C. It was cool, Fred. They took the first two
Took the
games.
first series,
I was
yeah.
hoping that they would take the brooms out early this season and just sweep the Nationals. That didn't happen. They got into some trouble with a rookie pitcher. I mean, it's Schuster. I mean, this is
Right.
yesterday. I was gonna say last night, but yesterday was his MLB debut. I mean, he's gonna remember that moment for the rest of his life.
Sure.
It's unfortunate that it didn't, go his way. But come on, like
but he's a rookie, so I mean, come on, they'll stretch him out. I mean, there'll be time. He'll be good.
That's
in
right.
Time,
That's right. And you know what? Compared to the first two games, right? The bats were hot in game 1 and game 2.
Right. They
Really,
came out
really
swinging,
hot.
sure.
They cooled off in game 3. So for the Braves offensively, they just weren't there yesterday. I will say Travis d'Arnaud, though, Fred, he's been doing his thing the first 3 games.
Sure.
I mean, honestly, it's funny to see because
He's an underrated catcher to me. He's an underrated catcher, and I think that he does a good job behind the plate handling pitchers, and he's proven that he can hit, and he's coming through with some
So
big
good.
hits now. So I mean, I'm happy for him.
4 of 5 in game 1, right?
Right.
So, and this is not to say that things aren't going to change because they will change, guys. This is so early in the season. But in game 1, he was 4 of 5. He brought in 2 runs. He had 2 runs of his own, and he didn't start at catcher. It was Sean Murphy, their big,
Right.
off-season acquisition that started at catcher. We all knew
Right.
that was going to happen, and he was 0 for 5. I think it was.
Right, but
He's going to settle in, though, guys.
by the
But
way,
I'm
the
just
DH,
saying,
don't worry,
Travis d'Arnaud's
there's-
the vet, and he's the guy.
they're going to have a spot for him. I mean, because of the DH, there's always
That's
going to be
right.
a spot for him in the lineup.
You have to. You have no choice because the guy can hit.
Oh, he can definitely hit,
So,
and he's good behind the plate.
and he shows great veteran leadership
He
in
does.
the clubhouse.
Oh yeah, people love him. They
Yes,
follow him. Yeah,
absolutely.
the players follow his lead. There's no doubt about it. He's been a big addition to this club. A big addition to the club, and it was good to see him in the World Series.
It was, and every
I know
time
we're 2 years removed from that now,
there
but
are
still,
no
it's big.
there are no moments bigger. You like hit the moments for him aren't big. Like he treats every moment the same.
Right, he can handle the playoff.
He's so even.
He can handle everything.
I
right.
love it. I really, really do. All right, Fred. Moving on to the Hawks.
The Hawks. Okay, what does that say? Make the playoffs.
The playoff push is
push.
on, okay? Because they have 4 games left in the regular season.
They're not
Right
gonna-
now, 8th place in the Eastern Conference.
They're not going to be in the 6th place.
Oh, no, that's not happening.
No, they're going to, they're going to be in that play-in tournament. They're going to
No
have to get
matter
out of
what.
that play-in tournament.
Yeah. They
To
could
get
go
into
down
the-
to 10, though. They could
They
go down
could,
to 10.
and get in that bracket. It's going to be tough.
And there's like a 0.00001% that they make it to the 7, which would be ideal like last year. They were in the 7th place last year, and they got to host the play-in game. But
Right.
right now, 8th place in the Eastern Conference, 4 games left, a very mediocre 500. That's where they stand at 500,
Right,
39
exactly.
and 39. Fred, there is no way this team thought at this time of the year that this is where they were going to be when the season started.
No, I mean, but they,
No way.
they
They
had
had
to
high
blow it up.
hopes.
They had to blow it up,
They did.
and bring in Quinn Snyder and see what he can do. And nobody expected it. So now, yeah, I think it's on once again. Here we are in April, and it's on Trae Young and it's on John Collins to pull these guys through.
8 and 9 under Snyder, and I'm not pointing fingers,
No.
especially not to him because he just got here.
Right.
They hired the guy with 21 games left in the regular season. How much can you change the culture, change things around the team in 21 games? You can't. But during his press conference, he made it very clear when he was introduced, Fred. He said, "We need to go on a run. My team needs to go on a run." That's something they haven't
Right.
been able to do. They have not been able to win 3 consecutive games, 4 consecutive games. They haven't done that at all.
Win
all
8 out of
season.
10, win 9 out of 11. That's what they got to do. Is go on a 9-2
haven't-
run, and they haven't been able to pull
Haven't
away.
been able. They lose one, win one, lose one, win one. They have not been able to go on a run at all this season.
They only got
So
4 games to go now, so
it's ironic that he said, "Let's go on a run. We need to go on a run." And now we're talking about the playoffs, and what they need to do is go on a run.
right.
Like,
They got to want to run. They got to figure out a way to at least host that play-in thing, or they're going to be in trouble.
yeah, it's these 4 coming up games. They're very important. Like super duper important for where they're going to be positioned in the play-in tournament. And players that you talk to say like that play-in tournament is just like the NCAA tournament. That's what they compare it
Right.
to. One and done. You go
Right.
in, you win or lose. If you lose, you go home. If you win, you move on. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. And Fred, in any sport, like you could have an off night, even though the Hawks have had a lot of off nights
Sure,
this
they've
season.
had an off
they
night.
could go in there with their, what's
With their B game and get crushed. Right.
Oh, it's they are a frustrating team to watch this season, no doubt.
You do seem frustrated with them.
Yeah, and Fred, I said we'd get back to you, and we're going to get back to you now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to say it now. I love you so much. This has
Well.
been truly like the best time with you. Almost
love you
7
too.
years together. I can't imagine working with anybody else right now, but obviously it's going to happen. And Belinda James, one of our executive producers, asked me the other day, she said, "Hey, Emily, I'm just wondering who's going to make you laugh as hard as Fred does once he's gone?" And that answer is nobody, absolutely nobody. But I put a little story together on you and your time here in Atlanta and throughout the TV business, so we're going to watch that really quickly.
All right, here we go. We got Fred and Freddie here in a little cornhole.
How do you say goodbye to Fred Kalil?
The punter was the player of the week.
I remember that.
Yeah, we-
That's what I'm talking about right there, baby.
After watching him on your TV
How about that?
for 30 plus years in Atlanta,
He could talk about the bullpen or he could talk about Luda. It doesn't matter.
You know
that's
what?
something you have to agree on
That's
right
been the
away.
big thing right there.
And more than 4 decades
Fred Kalil.
in the business.
The reach that he has had in this town. I mean, you go anywhere and you get into a crowd, "Hey Fred, hey Freddie, hey Freddie," and you're sitting like, how do all these people remember this guy?
From World Series runs with the
Did
Braves
it after the trade deadline.
Yeah, pretty incredible what we were able to accomplish.
to the Dogs' back-to-back national championships, Fred was there.
It was the hot night through butter, man. I mean, it was unbelievable. Coming on live right now.
Yeah, you're live right now, Fred.
There are too many live shots to count.
Okay, we are live right now. I'm sorry. It's kind of loud down here on the field. Freddie wants to eat. All right, get out of the way, will you? All right.
Just like the amount of laughs Fred has given us throughout the years.
This is not that bad. You know that.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful. Not to mention, Fred has never met a fan he doesn't like.
Look at these guys. Hey, who are some of your favorite guys? Who's your favorite player? He's
never been a one-trick pony, knowing when to switch gears. In March of 2021, an EF4 tornado hit Coweta County. Fred told the story of the athletes affected at Noonan High School.
You got to feel for these young kids as they try to go through their high school years.
Fred has also seen some tough times. The toughest, August 2000,
I'm going to go in and get it. I'm 98% sure it's benign.
when he had a benign tumor removed from his brain.
Not a quitter, go getter. I mean, he's such a legend in the market. So it's like, people wanted to see him come back. It was good to see him come back.
I did meet him after his brain surgery, so there's a little bit of a different Fred that I got a chance to work with and see his recovery to up until now, and it's just amazing the road he's had.
Like most athletes he's covered, Fred's persevered and won. That's why it's so hard to say goodbye. You never want to let go of a winner.
Thank you so much.
One too many stories to put in there, Fred. We tried our best to put some laughing pieces and obviously, your softer side because, guys, this goes without saying, but Fred Kalil, with the last name in there, you're a legend here in the city, and you're just
Thank you.
beyond me. You're going to be so missed. And guys, Fred, anywhere I went with him, this is the truth. It's like Fred, from like left to right, up and down. You can't go anywhere with this man without feeling like you need security because everybody wants to talk to you, wants a piece of
Listen to
you.
you.
And thank you for having shared your life with us for so long and me for 7 years. And this goes without saying, and people out there would never be able to know this, Fred, but you and I will be friends forever.
Oh, of course, friends forever, for
If
life.
If and when I get married, you and Carla will be front row and center cheering me
Yes,
on.
we will be.
I have gained a friend in this process, but all of you watching, gained just one of, a legend in the city, a sportscaster that did everything. And Fred, what's your most memorable moment, I guess, having been here for 30 years now?
So many memories. I think probably hosting the Olympics was pretty big, The funniest moment had to be when the NBC show ER went live. I went and did the sports live from the ER. And the ER doctor, the Falcons were struggling, as they did a lot in the mid-'90s. And the ER doctor threw back the curtain. She goes, "Oh, no, Dr. Fred." And it was the Falcon helmet on life support, and she went down and gave it mouth to mouth, gave the Falcons helmet mouth to mouth to try to resuscitate the Falcons, which of course she couldn't. And they were awful that year, and I do remember that. And then later, running into that same doctor, like at the Community Service Awards that I hosted in like 2001 or 2002, and the same doctor came up to me and grabbed me by the lapels, and she said, "I checked on you every night. Do you know that?" Yeah.
I didn't even know that story, and I know a
Yeah.
lot of stories.
Yeah. She
That's
grabbed me by
sweet.
the Dr. Pat Metters. So Patty Metters. Dr. Metters, thank you.
Yeah, and Fred, that was one of the things that, like, still to this day, people ask you about. Like when we're
Yeah.
out, people ask you how you're doing and how you've been able to overcome so much. And I mean, the fact that you've been able to do that and be, so successful and continue on, the grit that you've shown is just remarkable.
Well, I just thank you so much. I think really a lot of it is if you're in sports. I mean, wasn't good, in college, but you're in sports, so you have to get back. You've got to find a way to get back on the field. You find a way to get back. And, you saw me there with Coach Corso. He was my college coach. He's had strokes. And I remember after his first stroke, I called him and chewed him the way he chewed me after my surgery. He told me I better get my in rehab and better work hard. You hear me? And call me up. So I called him up when he had his stroke, and I said, "You better work hard in rehab. You better work your blank off in rehab, Coach. Remember that."
And Fred,
So-
we got to wrap up, but your tie today, Alex, your daughter.
My daughter
who's
Alexandria,
pregnant.
right?
Fred's about to have his first grandchild, but what did she tell you to do today with that tie? She told you what, to wear it?
To wear it
And why?
because it was the tie that she picked out for me.
But like earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like younger in your career?
Oh, when she was little, it was a long.
Yeah.
This tie is as old as you. Yeah, this tie is old. But
So-
yeah, she was little and she picked this tie out. Yeah, when she was a little girl. Because look at it, it's got all the colors, so you can see that.
Yeah. So a little girl would want to wear
Or
something like that.
pick it out, right? Yeah.
So it's sweet. So on his last day, he's wearing the tie that his daughter picked out for him. And of course, he's now retiring to go closer to her and his first grandchild. Fred?
And our son too, Devin. Hopefully he'll be by here. Crazy man.
Yes. But
See
of
what
course,
happens.
family man right here, naming all the
Thank you.
children so nobody's left out.
Right.
Fred, we love you. It's
Thank you.
been, it's been a true honor. It really has.
Atlanta has been so good. It's so great. I love Atlanta. Love Atlanta. Love you too, Emily.
I love you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night, guys.
Bye.